What's happening? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Play Dead live solo workshop. Here we are. We're here. If you're just showing up, please hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. Get tuned up. If you guys want to, you can go ahead and start dropping your questions, if you have any. What's going on, Dingle? Again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them. Guys, if you're just getting in here, please hit the like button. That helps other people find it. Today we're gonna go over some decent. We're gonna go over some cool, like, kind of like just soloing concepts, maybe even for just like for melodic kind of leads and stuff like that. Especially when it comes to something like Sugary, something that needs to be pretty like vocal line heavy because it's such a simple progression. And we will also be going over my pedal board, the way the pedal board is set up now, and we can kind of like answer questions and go through stuff like that about it. Dingleberry says, I feel compelled to ask something, but I don't have anything specific off the top. Just here to watch and learn. Duncan says, grateful. Matthew Hebel says, Davey, what's good, brother? I have recently joined a Dead cover band. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. But make sure, is it a cover band or is it a tribute band? Because they're different. But I would think that you're giving it the old tribute. Let's see here. So what I want to go over with you guys today, just some melodic ideas, like going with more like vocal melody lines, because Jerry's a very melodic player. I'm also a very melodic player. I'm a very like a very emotional player. I'm not really like a math player. I don't think about it in terms of like numbers or anything like that. I think about it in terms of like emotion, like what I'm feeling for that, because I think it's all about serving the song and not necessarily doing what you think is the best. It's like for you, it's what's best for the song, if that makes any sense. Like really being able to tap into what the song is about to you, because that's what people connect with. People connect with what it means to you personally, because they can see a little bit of like how maybe they would feel through how you're doing it. Wrangler, what's going on? Hebel asks, you catch any of those Billy and the Kids vids from Red Rocks? I'm not a huge fan of it. I like it for what it is, but I'm not the biggest fan of Billy Strings. And I know that probably is sacrilege to a lot of people, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him or his voice. And I know a lot of people are liking it, and I'm not digging on it. I'm not taking a dig on it at all. Like all the more power to them. I think these guys need to play as much as they can before everybody's dead. I'm all about it. It's just not really my bag. But yeah, so what I want to do today, so we're going to start with a bit of Sugary. We're going to play a little bit over Sugary, and I want to show you guys some concepts throughout Sugary. So we'll go to the close up here. Right? And so we're going to throw on a little bit of loop, so Sugary is just B and E. So I've got a loop of that set up, so we're going to let that go. So nice and slow. So we got plenty of room. A lot of the times what I'll like to do with this starting out, I like to start out high. But we're going to backtrack, scratch that. So for like the intro, when you're just doing those chords, what I like to do is I'll start from there. And the reason I like to do that, especially with like the intro and stuff, is so you stay in that lower register just to kind of like get the juices flowing, because you don't want to bust that load right off the bat, right? So if you're the only guitar doing it, so if you're doing like a Jerry band version of Sugary, that's all on you basically. So it's And as long as you're landing back on that B root, sorry, we'll give you a close-up back. So as long as you're landing back on that B root, so the song's in B mixolydian, which is like E major, right? So that whole time, if you're just chilling in B, because E's all around there too, right? So, but that B root, that second fret on that A string, as long as you land on that, you're gonna be fine. If you're staying within like your whole half kind of idea, so it'd be. See, I'm playing along with the chord tones, so I'm hitting that open E when the chords would lead you to that E. See how much difference that makes just to hit that that open E when that's supposed to hit, you can still pretty much be doing the same thing. But as long as you're hitting those chord tones, which would be the B and the E, as long as you're hitting those, everything's going to be great. And so, you know, like if you know your chord inversions. So I'm huge on, I am an advocate of chord inversions and whole half. That's pretty much how I'm able to turn off and play, you know. So you've got your B here. So if you're going from that B root, so if you go from, start from that B root, and you go whole half. So whole half, you're now on an E root, right? Which is where you want to be for that second half of that intro progression. So so that's why chord inversions are so important, guys, because everything, it's the snake eating its own tail, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Playboy After Dark video where Jerry describes the drums chasing each other around like a snake eating its own tail. But this is that same kind of thing. So when you're looking at these, so you've got a B here, 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 and you've got a B here. So if you're doing that, you've also got this B right here, sorry. You've also got that B. So if you've got all these different Bs, you got B here, 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 and here. You're just working your way through those. Like I've said in these other two solo videos, but if we're actually moving into like using it practically within a song, sugary. So you've got these Bs here. But you've also got these E's as well. So E, E here. Sorry. Okay, so starting from the bottom here, we got E here. You've got an E here. Got an E here. Got an E here. Got an E here. And then you're back there. So you'll notice that B and E are relative. And so like when you've got relative chords and keys going on, okay, shout out Dead Shaman Supply with the badass 1-Up shirt. Shout out. Guys, please go ahead and hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. That helps other people find the stream while we're still going. So they're relative. So you're always going to have those notes within there. So like a relative progression would be like B, A, E. Like all those chords, they're all interconnected. So E, A, B major, like all of those are interconnected. You can pretty much, if you've got a progression that's an E, A, and a B, you can pretty much just chill, like depending on which one you start with. So with Sugary, you start with B. So it's going to be B Mixolydian, which is E major, right? I know that doesn't make the most sense, but it will when you realize that, again, you're just tracing chord shapes up and down the neck through these different inversions. So if we've got Sugary going here, and so at that point you can kind of pick whichever B you want. And knowing the intervals around those shapes that define the chord. And that's basically the whole thing we're getting to here. So you can pretty much this is an open sandbox. If you know where all your different inversions are, the world is your oyster. Because like if you're down here in this B, and then you move up to the next one. Now we're up in the next one. Move up to the next one. And see, we've made our way to this one. So like if you pay attention to where your intervals are, it's going to be super easy for you to just like work your way up and down, because if you're working your way, using the whole half method or caged, whatever you want to call it. It's just about counting those notes in between. So you've got this B here, and to move to that next B, which would be here, or this one, whichever, because they're right around the same spot. It's really just about the finger shape you want to make. So you've got this B here, and you can even start from this B. So next one. So that way you can just yeah, that's what I was saying. E major is B mixo, and B mixo is E major. So that and I know that can get kind of confusing for guys who are just starting. So I want to do a quick disclaimer here. So I'm not a guitar teacher. I don't know theory. So I'm just explaining these things to you the best way I know how, because like people have asked me to do this. So you guys can say all you want. Say all you want down in the comments and stuff like that, but I'm gonna explain this the best way I know how. What's going on, Juke Joint? Jack Fishy Fish is here. Nathan's here. Eric Frederick, what's up? Barn Door, what's going on? So navigation from shape to shape is probably my biggest issue, says Barn Door. Okay, so Barn Door, we can help you out. So if you're doing these different shapes and stuff, all you have to worry about is that whole half method. So if we're on this B major, right? So you're there, you got that B root right there. And what I'm doing is I pretty much constantly follow the whole half method. It's pretty easy to see it segmented. So you've got this B here. So let's just keep it simple. You're gonna do this B to this B. Right? Those are pretty easy shapes, pretty common shapes. But do you see how you don't have very far to go to get to them? You've just got this little area to get through here. And the best way to break that down is through the whole half method. So if you're starting on your D string, so I'll usually go from the 4th fret to the 6th fret to the 4th fret on the G, right? So at that point though, you're just doing 4 to 6, 4 to 6 on the D and G strings, right? So, and then you can slide up to the 8th fret, right, on that G string, and where are you now? You're now within this B chord. You're now within this higher register B chord. You've got there. So whole half. So if you do whole half from B, so you do whole half, that generally always puts you in an E. It does. It puts you in an E, right? How do you know where you are in the whole half? And learning modes can help you find that. Yeah, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to show you guys, the way that you don't even necessarily have to think about mode. You don't have to necessarily think about those things. Because I play by ear. I try to serve the song. I try to do what's best for the song in the moment based along my knowledge. And by all means, go book learn all you want. go listen, like Stitch Method is great. He's great for like the theory behind everything, and Weeping Willow is also good for that, and so is Jeff Williams. But the way I know, I was forged in fire. I didn't go to school for anything. I'm not book learned with it. I learned by playing with people and playing on the street. So this is just the way that it makes sense to me. And if it can make sense to my dumb brain, maybe it can make sense to you guys who are much smarter than me and much more handsome. You're all very handsome. And how do you know where you're at with the whole half? So with the whole half, knowing where you're at is just kind of figuring out where you start. So if you're starting with the root, and again, it's about knowing those chord inversions. So if I know that I have a B here and I have a B here, I know where those notes are. And see, I've already worked my way back down. It's so easy to go between these two. And so and Nathan, you're right. It's about playing over those changes. So, if we're running from this B to this B, right? So you've got those two. And really, you don't need to worry about, I would suggest not really worrying about exactly where you're going to go. Like, so if we've got this, you're B and E. Just super simple. I always, and that's one thing that Jerry would do, and I like to do as well, is where you kind of skip that last hole and you just run straight to the half. So, because that gets you up to your E. So if I'm doing 4 6 4 on the D and G string, so do you see there? I skipped that last hole. I skipped the bum 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 bum. There would be another step there, but I just went ahead and slid all the way up to that half. Bum bum. Jerry would do that a lot. I do that a ton. Trey does it a lot. Like a lot of jam band guitarists do that, where they'll pretty much stick to that whole half method until you're getting toward the end of a phrase, because that leads you back in around to that B. So and another way I like to do it too is to look at it. So so if you were to go to that B and you just use these two fingers, your pointer and your middle finger. And if you're going to do this B here, so you'll be putting your middle finger on the 9th fret and you'll be putting your pointer finger on the 8th fret. A good way to visualize the whole half is to do it with these kind of these little chords a little bit, okay? So you do this here, and then what you'll do is you'll kind of make an A minor shape, and you'll go up to that C sharp minor kind of area. So what you're doing is you're then going bum 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 bum. So what we'll do is we'll start there on the 9th and 8th fret, and then we'll move up to the 11th and 9th fret. But what you'll do is you'll put your ring finger on that 11th fret and put your pointer finger on that 9th fret. So bum bum, and then you'll move that same shape up a whole step, bum, and then what you'll do is you'll go back to that original shape to be an E, and that's basically an E chord, right? So you're on the 14th and 13th fret on the D and G strings. So That's a good way to like start visualizing it with chords, because you can even just like play that out. But what that's doing there is that's showing your fingers and your ears what that whole half method actually sounds like. So what you're doing is you're moving from a B to an E. So and if you'll notice, I'm only working my way up to that E when it hits that E, but otherwise I'm hanging out in that half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, half, E, up to that other half, right? So you got half, whole, half. And so with that, you're starting on the half, right? But if you were just down here on the 9th fret on the D string, whole, half. And if you're just here, and if you're doing, if you're just on the G string, you would be half, whole. But then that still leaves you in the same spot, right? So depending on the string you're on, that's where you're kind of gauging where you're at with the whole half method, okay? But I think the best way to practice it is with that. That's one of the better ways that, and because I used to do that I did that for years, just like not even really understanding what I was doing. But then when I gave myself the context of, oh, I can just pick these out note by note. And that's kind of like, that's gotten me where I need to go. And Nathan asks, hold on, let me sorry, I missed a few messages. Let's see here. Eric says, to spice up rhythm, when you play riffs between chords, you can play an E pentatonic after an E, then B pentatonic after a B chord. You can totally do that. You can, so that's basically going with chord tone. Right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be playing along with the chord tones. Now, when they say E mixolydian or B mixolydian, which is just E major, what you're doing there is you're basically just throwing all that together, right? So when I'm playing with it, I'm not even thinking about necessarily, well, I also have this stuff ingrained in me, so I'm not even necessarily thinking about when I need to switch, you know? I'm really just thinking of accent notes, right? Because I'm a melodic player and I'm an emotional player. So I'm thinking about like, okay, well, where can I add in where can I add in a little bit of emotion? Where can I add in a little bit of sassiness, maybe a little bit of a tagline, especially with something as simple as Sugary, you're going to be wanting to add more kind of like vocal kind of melodies to it. And Nathan says, Davey, how did you come about learning the scales around the shapes without using some knowledge of the modes? I feel like I would just be playing mostly arpeggios without it. That's probably got to be I don't, it might be the psychedelics. It might be like playing with other people and listening to a lot of music, because, you know, like, playing with other people is the best way to get better. Play with people that are better than you, and you will get better because you pick up little tricks of the trade, you know what I mean? And like mold them to like what would sound best for you. Let's see here. So, and I've never learned scales straight up. Like, I mean, I know, so. So like that, and that stuff always, it always seemed boring to me to figure it out like that. So for me, it was one of those things where it's like, I know where my roots are and I know my different my different inversions. So if I know my chord inversions, that's been the biggest thing. And the thing that I will always stress during these videos is that you need to learn your chord inversions. So that means every different shape of the same chords. So you learn that, and you're really just working your way using the whole half method between those. So if we've got an E here and an E here, so I just worked my way through all the different E's up. So I've worked my way up and back down. Play an E major in the C shape right there. Let's see here. Wasn't really asking about soloing on top of a backing track, more if you're trying to play the chords and also riff in between. Oh, okay, now I get you, Fred. Okay, so Eric, sorry, I don't mean to call you Fred, but your last name is Frederick, so I'm sorry. So Eric, Frederick. Okay, I got you, because you got those two first names. I dig that shit, like Bruce Wayne, dog. You like Batman. So if you're gonna do that, so if I'm doing like a Jerry band thing, and I'm doing both of them, bum bum bum. So you're talking about stuff like that, where you're just kind of like, you're doing shit in between the different chords. So that would be the best way to do that is, again, it's all about knowing where your root is. So if you know that you have to hit that E when it changes to E, if you know you have to hit that, then you just got to know where those different E chords are. You know what I'm saying? So if you know where those different, so I think that's one of the biggest things. So you got that B there. So that was my change to E. I just hit an open E. It's that simple. And then from there, and then I hit my B root. And like the easiest way to start doing that, Eric, is to really just kind of like just do it note for note. So like start off slow. You know, you've got your B, okay. You know, you got your B, and then you're gonna go to your E. You've got that. You've got that. That's no problem. And then just like when you go back to that B, just. Because you know that that's your B chord, and you know that you've got an E right here, or you've got a B right here, and you've got an E right here. So as long as you're working your way back and forth, so that's where knowing, first of all, knowing the fucking song, guys, you got to know the fucking song, right? So the rudiments are the best thing. So learn your song first, and then start working in those little kind of like in between riffs or in between moments, little filigrees. Let's see. Inversions are used all over the place in the Dead. Bobby part as well as Jerry. Absolutely. That was like, that's a huge thing with jam bands, because if you're just playing things straight in first position or second position or third position, if you're just sticking to one of those areas, you're going to get so fucking bored, especially if you're playing these songs over and over again every night for years. you got to do stuff to like make sure these songs aren't going to bore the fuck out of you. So knowing the chord inversions is also a good way to like keep it's like fucking finger calisthenics. You know what I mean? It's just like easy little workouts that's just going to keep your brain elastic enough to like keep doing this for forever. Davey, can you say hello to my mom? I got her watching here with me. I call her Mama K. Well, what's up, Mama K? My mother's name is actually Kay, K-A-Y. Isn't that fun? Easton asks, what audio interface am I using? So this right here, this is my amp. So this is my amplifier. This is a Milkman The Amp 100. And so what this does is this runs into right here. You can see it's a little bit of a mixer board. So I have a big Studio Live AR16 16-channel mixing board / audio interface that allows me to multi-track into Logic Pro. So I have 18-ish channels that I can run directly in here for like recording. So if I wanted to record my band up here in the studio, I would just have to mic everything up, run it in here, and then I can run just, I can have 16 tracks open in here, and I'm getting multi-track like a professional studio, and then I can edit it as such. So it was probably one of the best $600 I've ever spent. Let's see here. Jesse, what's going on, buddy? Is Samson and Delilah Play Dead on the Horizon? Absolutely. Yes, it is, of course. You're probably going to be getting some other stuff here soon because I've been working on a lot of stuff because Tennessee's Dead is finally coming out from the cave. We're going to do a show on the 7th, on August 7th. We're going to do that. And so we've been working on some fun stuff. So I'm probably going to be doing some of those songs next week. Just a little sneak peek. Maybe next week is Viola. Maybe it's Viola Lee Blues. You never know. If I got an FYD, it'd be in heaven. Yeah, but it's probably way out of my price range. But yeah, no, I will be doing like, and that's the thing though, is that like with what I'm doing and the way that I'm figuring things out is I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the best setup for me. And right now, this is the best setup for me because not only does this thing get loud as fuck, it's clean as fuck, it's crisp as fuck, it also runs direct out of the back with an amp simulator, with a cab simulator. Right. So this thing is perfect for what I need because I do a lot of running into a computer because this. That's just like a pure digital signal. I'm not running through this. That's quiet. That's silent. So you're just getting like straight, like just hi-fi fucking audio quality. Which is amazing, which is what I need it for because I can't have bullshit in the room, especially when we're doing like the Friday night ones and I need to have like my vocal line clear. I can't have like a loud ass guitar in here because the nature of this tone is loud as fuck. Jerry was notoriously loud as fuck on stage, and you have to be if you want this tone to really hit the way it's supposed to. So I'm definitely going to be doing a video. I have to do a video on this thing soon. I know I've really just been wanting to really get to know it as well as I can and know where it pushes and pulls. You know what I mean? Like, because there are some downsides. Like this doesn't have a mid control. It just has a high and bass. It has highs and bass control on it. So that's why I've added in an EQ, which is when we're going to move over into our the pedal section of the video. See, and that's the thing, Nathan, like I've been talking to Waldo. I've been talking to him about stuff. I think he was gonna send me one of the spuds that he has. He was gonna let me borrow it to like do a video on. And I would still love to do that. I still would very much love to do that. Sorry, my thing was making a rough noise. And I've been talking to him about stuff, and like he ripped me a new asshole the first time I talked to him. because apparently I'm a fucking idiot and all my videos are wrong. But hey, that's just how it is because he's the guy that knows everything. And he literally does. Like, that's his life purpose, is figuring out the Jerry tone perfectly. And he has. He really has. And so that will get added into Jerry Rig. Like, that will be a thing, like, where we do like a Waldo thing where like I'll put like one of the buffers in one of my guitars, and we'll do the whole Waldo thing to where there can be a full accurate sound. But that shit's expensive as fuck. And like, I don't, there's so many ways to skin a cat. There's so many ways to get down that road. There's not just one way to do it. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, alligator. Yeah, an alligator will be coming. Like, I love alligator, so it'd be a boom. So that's that. Let's see. Nathan says, that's a misconception. Their stage volume was, when Healy was brought into the picture, was very in control. I can play my Spud into 2300, no problem in my bedroom. Okay. Because he knows if you got your hands on it, it would change your life. He's your good buddy. You live close together. No, that's awesome. And he like, I love the dude to death. Like, we've had some really good conversations through Instagram and stuff. And like, I really do. I'm going to work with him. I am. It's just like right now, I just don't have like the cash to like really put into it because that shit is expensive. The internet is definitely divided as far as what the chord changes are for the turnaround at the end of the Samson chorus. Yeah, I'll figure it out. And amen, it's very expensive. Yeah, that's just how it is, and that's the nature of the game. So like, but that's why I'm here. That's why I do the Jerry Rig videos. That's why I do these kind of videos, because I want to offer the fucking regular man's version of this shit. Because like there are ways to get these sounds close enough. Like, if you're not a fucking like, if you don't have a hard on for like the exact tone, there's so many ways to skin that cat. You know what I mean? There's so many ways around it. Now, what I want to show you guys is I want to do a little rundown of my pedal board for you guys. So I have another camera set up right here. Sorry, you get to see my nasty toes. But so I just wanted to give you guys a breakdown of what the pedal board is looking like right now and what I'm kind of using it for. So the newest edition is this fella. This is the Harmony Singer by TC Helicon. So like TC Electronics, TC Helicon, that company. And this thing is, it blows my mind. I love it. What it does is it gives you perfect harmonies in tune with your guitar. So your guitar runs through it. So as you can see, I've got my my mono cable coming from my O-bell going into it right here. Sorry, my nasty toe. Right there, and then it comes out and goes into my hubbub where the O-bell still comes in. So what it does is it reads what chords I'm playing and gives me perfect harmonies in like that are in tune and in key with that, which is amazing. And it also comes with a really good reverb. Right now, you see it's blinking. I've got that on bypass mode, so my voice comes through clear without any reverb. But as soon as I click that, and there you have like that really nice hall reverb. And what it has right here, so you've got, this is reverb. And so I've got it on hall right now, but you also you've got club and room. So this is hall, this is club, this is room. That's your room. But I love the hall. I'm a hall guy. And then you've got the mix, like the level of the backup vocals. And then you get to choose. Sorry, I'm going to turn this off. It's making me sound too epic. Then you get to choose what octave of a harmony you want. So you've got so this one is a fifth above and a fifth below. And you can hear it there. So shake it, oh shake it, sugary. Just don't tell them that you know me. see there like that. That's the fifth above, fifth below. That's what this is. And it's pretty cool. I prefer this one though. This is a third above and a third below. Now this one sounds the most natural. It's listening to the live. It's listening to what I'm playing live. So if I was to do something like roll away the dew, roll away the dew, roll away the dew, you better roll away the dew. So isn't that dope? And then like, shit, man, there's just so many possibilities. Like, Judge decreed it, Clerky wrote it, down indeed it. The judge decreed it, Clerky wrote it down. You this jail sentence, you'll be Nashville bound. Right? And so that's with that. And then you can, from there, you can change them depending on what exactly you want. So I can so that's the double harmony. That's with the above and below. That's the above and below. But then you get into, this is just a third above. So, shake it, oh shake it, sugary. Cool. And then you got the fifth above right there. Shake it, oh shake it, sugary. And it's also following your voice. So it's following your guitar for the key. It's following your guitar for the key, but then it's following your register for how high or low it's gonna go. So it's not just like a solid third just at all times. It adapts to where you're at. So if I'm here and I'm just chilling down here like this, you can see that the octave itself is a little bit lower. But when I go up here, it starts to pitch bend and shoot itself up. And it's a little out of key because I'm not playing anything. So it'd be like, shake it, oh shake it, sugary. And I'm not a fan of the fifth, but we'll go back to that third. So, shake it, oh shake it, sugary. Then you can be, shake it, oh shake it. And it also follows your intensity, which is awesome. This thing is completely adaptive, and it's great. It's an awesome thing to have in your arsenal if you don't always have somebody to do like backups with you. Guys, if you're just getting here, please hit the like button. That helps everybody find it eventually. And I love this thing. I've had one before. I had one a long time ago, and when I was like the only singer in my band, it was amazing because I could, you could just throw it in whenever you want, and you can just like click it on and off for like certain words and phrases and stuff, which I think is extremely valuable. And even then, like if you have the level on them set pretty low, it's still really cool to like color other, like, so if it's just like extra, like give it more of like a gospel feel. Let's see. You sound like you're calling in ransom demand. And so you can also go, I like to do this one where you've got both below, you've got both of the lower registers, and then you turn the volume all the way up on it. I really like that. I really enjoy this part of it. So you could do, shake it, oh shake it, sugary. Just don't tell them that you know me. Shake it. It's just cool to have like crazy deep, very white voice, And as far as like it goes going through something like this, it can sound a little bit digital and clippy sometimes, but if you're doing it in a live setting, you're just not going to notice, and it sounds fucking amazing. And it's all about using it with it's all about fucking class. Be classy with it. You don't want to be one of the people that has all these on all the time. Let's see. For when I set up karaoke in my neighborhood, I mean, they're great. And I mean, like, if you gig or anything like that, it's awesome to have, because it does seem kind of like a hokey little thing, but I guarantee you tomorrow night when I'm using it during the live stream, you guys are going to fucking love it. And then from there, from the Harmony Singer, which is amazing. I fucking love it. It's the best. I think you can get them for like $180 now. Cause like for like a couple years, they were going almost like for 300, but now I found this one for like 180 on Reverb, brand new, came brand new in the box, everything. And then from there you're running into the hubbub, and the toe looks nasty. But yeah, so the toe, this is a funny story. The toe, it's not that bad. So that's just some blood up under the nail. I was helping my grandmother move like 8 months ago, and she dropped something on my toe because she's old and she shouldn't be helping me move stuff. She dropped it on my toe, and that's why that toe looks nasty. See, the other ones are fine. But yeah, I got monkey feet. Sorry about it. So, Hubbub by Godfrey Daniels. He sent me this pedal, and along with the cable, my Obel cable, he sent that to me when Fred sent me the Wolf. And what the Hubbub is, it's a hub, right? It's a hub pedal. So what it is all my pedals run to that Hubbub. Cool? And you've got the Jerry hand and the regular hand. And when you're on the Jerry hand, that is Obel engaged. That is the Obel engaged. The onboard effects loop, it is engaged, which means that it just pastes the effect on top of your tone. It doesn't change your tone completely. Yeah, Grandma. We forgive you, Grandma. It doesn't change your tone at all. It allows the effect to be pasted on top of it, so it doesn't color your tone at all. Your tone is still true. So you still have that true Jerry sound, and then the effect is just put on top of it. Let's see. Quitty Pop says, "Hey bro, I've only got one guitar and it's acoustic. I want to get electric and saw the Deadbolt guitar that's a Jerry replica. Any good if you know about it?" Yeah, so if it's by Fred, all his stuff's good. The bodies are made in Japan. So if you have a problem with that, but we're a fucking global community now, so it doesn't really, I don't give a fuck where things are made. What I give a fuck is if the people putting it out give a fuck. That's what I care about. And Fred actually does give a fuck. He loves the music, he loves the people, and he makes these instruments are pretty good. They're pretty solid for their price range. So I would say if the Deadbolt is the one you want, if that's like the style that gets you hard, go for it. You can customize the hell out of those things too. And the stock isn't that bad. I have the stock pickups in mine. The only thing that Fred did for me, as you can see, is the only thing he did for me is he gave me the brass upgrades. He gave me this brass plate. He gave me the Alembic bridge. He gave me the brass pickup thing, and he gave me a brass nut. That's the only extra thing he put on this guitar, which don't really do much for the brass nut is really the only thing that affects the tone. And so I would always suggest you guys getting brass nuts. Japanese manufacturer is top notch anyway. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't give that's the thing though, is I don't give a fuck where he gets them. I just love that he makes these things affordable. I love that this guitar is $700. You can get this guitar for $700. That's fucking insane for a Jerry guitar. A guitar with a built-in preamp, right? A preamp and an onboard effects loop for $700. That's fucking crazy. But anyways, the Hubbub, when the Jerry hand is engaged, that's Obel. I'm on the Obel, everything's working, and then I have that switch on my guitar here to turn it off. So you can hear the difference because I've got my, let's see. You can hear the tone there, right? But when I switch my Obel off, that's just the straight Milkman, which is still good. But then when I switch that back on and you hear my EQ pedal kick in, that's it. And I like that a little bit more because I just have my mids and highs bumped just a hair, and I have my bass taken down just a hair in it, so it just lets me cut through a little bit more. Let's see. So then from there, So from the hubbub, what we're doing is then we run to my tuner. So then you've got tuner first. So tuner, and this is just a Diodario tuner. I got it for like $60 at Guitar Center. And Godfrey sells these. I think these are 90 or 100 or something like that. But my buddy at Smokin' Amp Co., right? Remember when I did the Micro V? So Smokin' Amp Co. makes basically a hubbub. They make one. So, and it's a lot cheaper. I think it's like $30 or some shit. So I would say get one of those. Then from there, I'm running into this, which is a Joyo volume/wah. And I was very impressed with the sound and the build of this thing. Joyo puts out great pedals. I don't know if you guys have ever fucked with Joyo, but this saves so much fucking room on my pedal board. I don't know if you guys saw the last setup, but I had like this whole area was taken up by a wah pedal and a volume pedal. And now, so the volume on it is like really solid. So nothing. Solid. It's a solid cutoff. Right? And then you click that wah on. And there's like a lot of settings on it and shit too. Like on the side there, you can change like the gain and you can change like the sensitivity of the wah. You can change whether you want it to be like bypass or volume. I prefer to have it volume. And then from there, that's when you start your gain stage. So I like to start with the Spark, which is my clean boost. So dial that down a little bit because the Spark really pushes. So you've got sugary going. And then this is what it sounds like without the Spark. Right? Sorry, I've got my reverb turned down on my guitar. There it is. So there's that. And then now we're going to add in the Spark, which is just a clean boost. So without, with, okay, so it's good. It's just it's really good for when you're trying to like bring stuff down. Let's see. What is Quitty Pop says? 78 New Year's closing a Wonderland version of Fire on the Mountain. I tried learning your video, but it seems there was a few things that weren't there. No offense. Tried learning your video, but it seems there were a few things that weren't there. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't take offense because you know I make the lessons, so I don't care. I mean, you learn it or you don't, you know. Let's see, because I don't teach specific versions of anything. I teach my versions of shit. So have fun with that. Then from there, from the Spark, we do the Jar Drive, which it's mostly like it's a modified FET drive. So it's meant to push tubes. So when I'm going in digitally, it sounds different than it does live, but I'll still give you guys a demo of it. And I will be doing a video of this too when the second run is ready to go out. So without, with, see how it just kind of gives it that kind of like 70s, it gives it that kind of like 70s, like early to mid 70s kind of like overdrive sound that Jerry would use. And I really like using it for like intros on like the 60s tunes. And I I really like using it for leads on songs like Mr. Charlie, fucking Viola Lee, things like that. Then we move on into the BBE Green Screamer. Now we're into like the more overdrive gains. So these two are basically pretty clean. The white boys, little white boys down here. So you got the Spark and the Jair Drive are more like my clean stage boosts. That Jair Drive sucks. Everybody, Aaron Shepard, the creator of the Jair Drive, you heard it here first. He says it sucks. And then then I move into the BBE Green Screamer. Right, so let's hear it without. And then we got the BBE. And so that's kind of like old reliable to me, the BBE Green Screamer. Now, I pretty much split my time between the Jair Drive and the Green Screamer for like main leads and stuff. And sometimes I'll run them together depending on how I want it colored. It doesn't, I do what I do. And then from there, what I like to do is then I run into the distortion, the DS1. Now, a lot of people talk shit about the DS1, but Jerry used one for a while. I like the way it sounds, and it definitely gives you that like late 80s, 90s kind of overdrive. So without. With it. And so I like that for like more songs that would have been in like the 80s, you know what I mean? Like late 70s, 80s. I love to throw it into those. Or if sometimes I need like a really nasty, like if I just want to rip something real hard, I'll throw the DS1 on and just like let it scream. Let's see here. This tone is killer. You satisfied with the setup for now, or is there another effect you're thinking about adding down the line? Well, no, this is pretty much perfection to me. I haven't gotten through the rest of them yet, but I will here in just a second. But this is like the epitome for me. This is pretty much it. Let's see here. Can't stay long for being at work. Just want to stop and say, hey, what's going on? Adios, Padres. Adios, Padres. Yeah, Alabama Getaway is a great example of what you would use the DS1 for. It like anything that's like ripping, like, and like even in like Help on the Way, like for the solo in Help on the Way, I love to use the DS1 for it. I love to use it for that. And then from there, we run to the octave, and this is just an old school Moore pure octave. I love this thing. It's great. It's such a tiny little package, but it does the job. So I love this little octave pedal, and you get to choose like, and you're basically choosing the way that you chose on this guy, on the harmony pedal. You basically get to choose what your levels of harmony are, and I like to keep it with like having lower ones. Let's see. The Jared drive saved me being able to play my envelope filter with my Strat. The low output single coils weren't cutting it. With the Jared drive in front, the filter, it sounds amazing. There you go, buddy. That's exactly what it's for. It's basically like a thick air pedal. Like you can use it at the beginning to give yourself just kind of like a preamp boost, or you can use it in the middle as kind of like a gain stage like I'm using now, or you can put it at the very end and just push the fuck out of your tubes and it gets fucking it almost kind of sounds like a DS1. Like just straight up, depending on where you put it in your stages, this thing is the Jared drive is like a little Swiss Army knife, especially since it's just got that like the loudness toggle on it. And then from there we run to my equalizer, right? We run to the EQ there, and as you can see on the EQ, I just have my like peak, mids, and highs up a little bit, and I have my bass down a little bit. Everything else is there, but that leaves me with this like. It just leaves me with the sound that I like. You know, this is what it sounds good to my ear. I know it's not perfect, but this is like what I want my Jerry sound to sound like. So, and the EQ pedal, I think everybody should have anyways, just because it allows you to rein in everything. And then I have that going before my Mutron. So I broke down and finally got one of the Mutron Micro Vs. And so like, that's why I'm saying that this is pretty much what I'll need it to be. Like, I never thought that I'd need 4 gain stages, but it helps. And then, like having that guy is great. So, and then now you have the Mutron. So there's that. I fucking love the Mutron. There's really nothing like it. I mean, everything else is close. So like if you want a Qtron, you want a Qtron Plus, you want the Micro V from Smoke and Amco, all those things are budget friendly and they will get you there. They will get you there, but they are not that. They're not that. And this actually, there's just, if you can afford it, get it. If not, go with the other ones because they'll get you there. That's what I'm saying. They'll get you there. But like with this, I will never have to upgrade. Like they sell opto mods for it. Like you can add in other little chipsets to it for cheap. And let's see here. Davey, do you ever play fingerstyle or are you just strictly pickly? I'm not the best fingerstyle player. I can do it a little bit. And for songs like Sitting in Limbo, I'm doing like a hybrid. So I'll do more hybrid picking over just straight fingerstyle. I can do fingerstyle, but I'm not Jerry. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where I don't have the background in finger picking. Like I have a background in folk music and acoustic music, but it was never, I played on the street, man. You can't really finger pick on the street if you're trying to be heard. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely, Nate, are you talking about the Mutron? So I was able to the out of spec Mutron. So I have the red one. Is that the one you're talking about? The out of spec? I think that's the one you're talking about, the red. I have it, but I couldn't figure out how to dial it in properly with the little trim pots inside. So maybe you could help me out with that because I have one. Right now I have the yellow one in there. That it comes with. So the Mutron that I found this one used on Guitar Center's website in the used gear for $180. Had it shipped to me for about $200, which is like anywhere between $100 to $100, like $45 to $100 less than you can get them brand new. And the thing is basically brand new. So I would say keep an eye out on Reverb, Guitar Center's used section. And if you find one of those, it comes up. They come up every so often. Just look for them like that. You've been thinking about the Micro V clone since that, and the Micro V, man, is great. So it is a great alternative to the Qtron. It's a great alternative to the Qtron Plus. It's a great alternative to the Mutron. It's only $120. You know what I mean? That you're looking at spending 2 to 3 times that much on the Mutron. Can I put socks on? No. You can deal with my toesies. That's just how it is, bro. Barefoot, the way to go. You only just don't like it because of that toe, and it's fine. It's just some blood under the nail because my grandma dropped some shit on it. $200 for shipping. No, it was $200 it was $200. I got it for $200. It was $180, and with the shipping, it came out to be $200. Yeah, can you please, so email me those settings. So email me tobyanddavy@gmail.com. So just like, so email to there. Email to that email, tobyanddavy@gmail.com. Email me those settings. I would love to get it dialed in properly because they say that that's the best one for the Jerry sound. So the toe is your friend. Let's see here. Oh, hell yeah, Carter. Yeah, dude, you're going to be so happy with that thing. You're going to be so happy. Gabe is the best. He's such a sweet man. But from the Mutron, I go into the dripping delay pedal. So this is a Gakko dripping delay pedal. It's an MXR clone. So it's solid. And it was only like $30. And so Matt Rowell, what's going on, buddy? Can you play Jackaro when you play? We're doing well, Matt. How are you doing? So with the delay pedal, I just use it for a little bit of coloring, just kind of like Jerry did in the 80s. So if we got that going, so we've got some delay on, and fuck it, let's throw the DS1 on. Fuck it, we're having fun. And as far as the delay goes, it's like, so when you add on one of like just the regular boost, so if I just put on the Spark, you're going to hear a lot more of that delay, right? And really the reason that I use delay so often with the guy does hand build them, every single one of them. Gabe is the tits. And so is Aaron Shepard, who hand builds all of the Jer drives one by one. Well, I mean, he does them in batches, but you know what I mean. Then we've got we go from the Gakko dripping delay pedal. And I love delay. The delay just adds a little bit of color because I like my shit to sound dreamy. I want you guys to think like when I'm playing my leads and stuff, I want you guys to think like, oh, maybe that's Jerry playing from my dreams. Something like that, you know? Like, but that's like my style. My style is like, I like it wet. I like it like floaty, airy, watery. I want you guys to I want it to feel nostalgic. I want it to feel like it's a dream from long ago. Maybe it's a nightmare. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's your grandmother hugging you. You never know. That's what I'm looking for. Because I want people to feel stuff. I'm all about emotion. I'm all about being sappy and emotional. That's what I like when I'm playing. But from there, then that's the end of the loop. That's it. That's the loop. And so my ditto and my reverb are outside of the chain completely. So I go from the 2 amp section out goes to the reverb, which is this Ventress, this beautiful Ventress reverb pedal. These buddies are a pretty penny. Thank God for the Affirm Loan app on Reverb. So I love this thing. It allows you to freeze. So like it has a freeze function. You can do 2 different reverbs at the same time. I'm still figuring it out. This thing is so complex that it's ridiculous for me. But if you were to do something like this, so if I get rid of that loop, and I do this, so you hear that? You hear how it's just, it's holding it out? And then from there, I can turn my looper on, I can record that. See, now that's going. And so what I like to do is, so like if we're playing with Chance in the Void, and Joel does this for me. Joel's the one that told me how to do this, the other guitarist in Chance in the Void. So his also has a freeze function. You do that, you get your looper going, you put that on it, and then you're still continuing to play with the band, but this gives you this this bliss, this kind of bliss feeling that just kind of like washes. So, so I just think that that's like one of the coolest things ever. And then from there, so you've got the Ventris running into the Ditto, and then the Ditto runs up here to the Milkman, right? And then you've got then that's the pedal board so far. And I've got everything plugged in here. Everything runs into these snarks. I've got 2 bricks under the pedal board. I've got 2 bricks up under there that are powered by these 2 snarks. It's just like the cheap bricks that you can get off Amazon for like $30. I got 2 of those down there to run everything because I don't want to overload anything. I've got this little 3-pronged surge protector up on top here to just kind of like consolidate, make everything look nice. And then these 2 are running all the pedals, and then this one runs the harmony singer. And that's the harmony singer. Gives you kind of like a Paul Simon vibe, and I love that shit. Yeah, man. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Sorry, I'll turn the reverb off. My bad. That's pretty much, toe cam. Do you guys have any questions? Please hit the like button. That helps other people find this when it's done and stuff like that. So, do you guys have any questions for me? Any questions on anything that we've talked about or gone over today or looked at or seen? You got any questions about pedals? The Jer Drive will be making a return very soon. Aaron's ordering parts as we speak. Is there a compressor in there? No, I don't have a compressor anymore. I don't use a compressor anymore. I'm not saying the compressors are bad. I love a compressor. I love a good compressor. It's just with the way that I run things now, I don't need it. Because I'm using this has a buffer in it. The harmony pedal has a buffer in it. The equalizer has a buffer in it. So I'm not losing any signal. To me, it's not about losing anything. The reason I would use the compressor is to really push my signal. But now I just don't really have a need for it anymore because I'm not playing in those kinds of settings anymore. And I've just I've upped my gear so much that because the compressor made me sound better. It helped my sound better. But now that I've found these other ways, I just don't really need it anymore. I still love compressors. So if you use one, I say use one. Let's see. If I have no pedals and I want to start, what 2 or 3 should I get? So if you're just starting, the things that for Jerry sound, the 3 pedals I would say to get are some form of overdrive, just some form, and I would say either somewhere around the Jer Drive. The Jer Drive is very versatile, right? And we sell them for somewhere around 100, 120 is what we sell these for. Nice toes, thank you. So we've got Jer Drive or some type of green screamer. You need some kind of gain stage. Now, if you could get a clean boost, that would be great too. But you need a fucking tuner because you need to tune your instrument. But I don't know if I count that as a pedal. You know what I mean? I don't know if I count that as an effect pedal. But I would say you need some kind of clean boost, some kind of gain or overdrive or distortion. And then some form of envelope filter. Everything else you can kind of build to. You don't have to have a delay. I like to have delay because it just thickens my sound a bit. And I have a reverb pedal, but a lot of the times the reverb that comes stock in your amp or whatever you're using is going to be just fine. I just wanted something, because the spring reverb on the Milkman is digital. It's a digital spring reverb, and it's just a little too springy for me, if that makes sense. So I wanted something with like a hall. So that's why I use the Ventris. The Ventris is giving me a really nice hall sound, because again, I like to sound like a dream. Let's see. And so Matt, so these two, this is mono, this is stereo. This is the onboard effects loop. So this goes down into my hubbub pedal, and then so it basically just loops back on itself without fucking with my tone. If you want to go watch the hubbub video, so I did a whole video on the hubbub pedal and the onboard effects loop. So I did like a whole demo of it, and I explained it there. Let's see. Do I ever play any alternate tunings? Sometimes, like when I was younger, if I'm playing like acoustic and stuff, like an open G tuning is really nice. But other than that, I just stick to standard, honestly, because of all the music I play. What pickups do I have in here? These are just the stock Japanese pickups that Fred has put in these. How do you go from soloing strictly scales to implementing your own style? Well, I think that I'm a little bit of an exception to the rule, just because I don't think about soloing from scales. I've never learned scales really. Like, I have an idea of what they are just through putting it together from what I've learned. So I'm basically all style, no substance, almost, if that makes any sense. But I don't want to sell myself short, because I mean, I'm an okay player. I'm okay, but I'm not amazing. But style is the most important thing. I think your voice through it is the most important thing to cultivate. So learning all these scales and all these picking patterns is all well and good, but I think the most important thing that you can do is try to develop your own voice within these things, because, people will be like, oh, well, Davey, you sound kind of like Jerry, but no, I sound like me. I sound like me, because I don't actively try to play like Jerry. Like, he's an influence. He's one of my influences. Trey is also one of my influences. Jimi Hendrix is also an influence. David Byrne is an influence. Fucking Frank Zappa is an influence on me. And all those things culminate together to makes me play the way I play, because there are times where people are like, oh, well, you sound like the Allman Brothers, or, well, that was pretty Jimi Hendrix of you. And some people give me shit for not playing just like Jerry. And fuck y'all. I'm not supposed to. None of us are supposed to play just like him. And the motherfuckers that do, all the more power to you. You've spent your life playing just like somebody else. Good job. I want to play like me, which, like, I'm very emotional. So there will be times where I have those. But that comes from me. That comes from my emotion. That comes from me knowing the music. That comes from me implementing these things. So, like, that's not me emulating Jerry. That's me playing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where you have to develop that voice, that emotion, that drive to really let yourself shine through. Because again, I know that I keep saying emotion, but that's like the biggest thing, is being able to connect to your emotions and let that come out through your fingers in like a cohesive-ish manner. Do I ever use a capo? Or, okay, sorry. What point did you leave the house and start playing for people? I've been playing in front of people since I was like 14. I think my first performance was in high school, and me and my best friend played Wagon Wheel in front of some people. Head down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing on my way into North Carolina, staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. What? I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. Yeah, so that was the first song I ever sang in front of people. And then I was in a talent show and sang Sunshine of Your Love. And that was before I even like played guitar and stuff. But then when I was 15, I started writing music with Toby. Toby and I, Adam Levine is here, everybody. Adam Levine from Maroon 5 is here, everybody. Yeah, so around 14, 15 is when I started playing out for people. And then Toby and I started writing music together when I was 15. So like writing folk songs and, you know, trying to emulate the writing of Bob Dylan and Robert Hunter and all that jazz. And then at 16, I dropped out of high school. Toby and I started extracting DMT and hitchhiking around the country. And then I would play music on the side of the street for money for years. That's what I did. Toby and I hitchhiked around the country, was homeless for a long time, and I would just play on the street to make my money. And that's where I just kind of like figured out how things work for me. That and playing while I was doing a lot of, I was doing a lot of psychedelics while playing. So that also helps, you know, patterns make sense, because when you're high on psychedelics, you see patterns in things. So it would be the same thing with guitar. And it's also hindered me in a sense too, because like I don't really want to learn, you know, I don't really want to learn the book aspect of it. You know, I don't really want to play by the book, because to me it is a fucking mysterious mistress that I have to tame, right? Good old Mimosa Hostilis. You right. Absolutely right. How do you go all style? I mean, like it's one of those things where it's just like, it just makes sense in my head because I'm melodic and emotional and I just kind of know where I'm at. As long as I know what key the song's in, I can figure it out. Let's see. Yeah. How do you buy that Jared Drive? Yeah. So you can join the Patreon for $2 a month, and then that puts you in the Discord. And the Discord, so everybody in the Patreon, so our Patreon members got first dibs on the Jared Drives, and they sold out immediately. That first run sold out immediately through the Patreon. Because of course they get first dibs because they give us money every month. So if you join the Patreon for $2 a month, that gets you in the Discord, and then you get these announcements when we have a new pedal coming, when we have whatever. If there's like a giveaway happening, the patrons will find out about it first. All that stuff. Dude, Nate T, thank you for being here. Yeah, we're about to bring this to a close. But let's see. What am I listening to right now? I listen to a lot of podcasts. I really honestly don't listen to a lot of music. And I saw that somebody asked me about the Billy and the Kids thing again. Again, that's not really my bag. The Billy and the Kids thing, I don't really like Billy's voice with it. See, like I've got a real chip on my shoulder for how people sing the dead. I just do, and I can't help it. It's just I judge people based on it. Almost like the music can be amazing, but if the way they're singing it, like if their canter is wrong, or like the way that like their cadence is wrong, I'm checked out. Let's see. Do I ever use a capo? I've got one right here. I use it like acoustically sometimes, and I mean, like I've been known. I mean, I have one. I've been known to use one every now and again. Let's see. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for sending those over here. Podcast recommendations. Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee from Mad TV. That's a great podcast. Your Mom's House is a great podcast. Two Bears, One Cave. My podcast, A Drink and a Joint. Put out a podcast every week. There's a lot of them you can catch up on. You've got, Whiskey Ginger, which is Andrew Santino's podcast. You got Hey Babe, which is a great, it's got one of the guys from Impractical Jokers and Chris DiStefano. It's great. Let's see. Everyone was trying to fight for the attention on stage. Me either, yeah. What's going on, Grateful Dabs? Opinion on Jeff Mattson? Don't really have one. But thank you guys for showing up. I hope this was a decent solo workshop. If you missed the solo stuff, it's at the beginning of the episode, and then about halfway through, we switch over and I show you guys my pedal board. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Go join the Patreon. The link is in the description. You can also, if you want to throw your boy a tip, you can do it that way. You don't have to, but it's there. Tomorrow night, live streaming, you know. But tonight on the Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, we're doing flashback flicks. If you are on the $5 tier or above, you get to come watch 2 movies with me and Toby tonight live. We're going to be watching National Treasure and Batman and Robin, and we're going to rip them to shreds. So think Mystery Science Theater 3000, but it's me and Toby, okay? And you guys are the best, and I love you. And if you just get in here, please hit the like button and just catch us on the replay, because the replay should go up immediately. Y'all are the best. I will see you in the next one. I love you. Goodbye. Mwah.